Because some people might say that Alex Jones had a meltdown,
Well,
but
that's what I was.
they said the same thing about Charlie Sheen. But I was there. We were watching.
People don't understand the time.
It wasn't a meltdown.
See,
He's like this all the time.
See, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I'll say.
He is who he is. Just like you are.
Right. Right. Here's one thing that I'll say about the whole situation with Alex Jones and Piers Morgan. I don't agree with Alex Jones on a lot of issues, but I do agree with him on certain ones. This particular issue right here, the Second Amendment, there's no difference. I firmly agree with everything that he has to say about it. In terms of him getting mad at a former British citizen, in fact, if I'm not mistaken, Piers,
I think it's Pierre.
is actually
French.
Still British.
Oh.
He's not even a full American citizen. So for him to come here and criticize our Constitution, and him not even being a citizen, that's like, if someone from Mexico came here and started bad-mouthing guns, saying that we should make them illegal.
But they don't want to talk about our Constitution. They want to keep that out of it.
Of course.
Let's see.
Alright, let's see how good the light is.
Looks good. I'd like to.
Because I haven't been on tape in a minute.
I'm not gonna run through that. So, come and check it out.
Well, no, come and sit in the screen.
What are we gonna talk about? Like Alex Jones and how Piers Morgan is a freaking douchebag?
And
Shit,
the bottom line is, it's our birthright.
Well, okay, so
They're all right. It's all right from birth.
Did Alex Jones help to discredit everything that we've been doing, everything that we're doing, and everything that we will do?
Okay, me being a harsh critic of Alex Jones, in a way, yes. The sheeple are gonna see that and they're gonna react one or two ways. They're gonna be like, oh my God, this crazy redneck guy, talking all this crazy stuff. But then on the other hand, they're like, wait, he's making good points.
Yeah.
And okay, he's hitting the top right on the head. But then there's that other third tip where you have the people that adamantly hate him with all their heart, and they're gonna use that as
Their
more ammo
websites,
to destroy him. So
Well,
it's like a multifaceted attack here.
It seems like a waste of time to me, right?
To attack Alex Jones, in my
Jones.
view, and to be on his nuts and support him hardcore is a waste of time. Either way you go, it's like Alex Jones is Alex Jones. It's the message and what he's talking about. See, I could go to other sites like Jack Blood, what's his name, Colbert Report, or not Colbert. That other dude.
Drudge Report.
Well, yeah, Drudge Report. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of different outlets out there.
Report's good too.
And Corbett Report. Yeah. That's the one I was thinking. But anyways,
there's a lot of good media.
Yeah, Dr. Stam on Teeth, Liberty Tree Radio, all them. They all have different, points of views, and all they're doing
site is not about Alex Jones. That's the whole thing. The focus is not on what Alex Jones is doing.
Well, however people perceive it
is about what is happening, and making sure that people get those facts that they wouldn't get from our mainstream media. And so we can't have this alternative fucking battle to see who is the top truther or who's at the top of the food chain, shit like that.
Right. Man. So let me.
We got a real cause here. I mean, we got real problems here.
Let me just say this: it's easier to argue and infight than it is to actually take on the enemy, because when we take on the New World Order, they try to ignore us and we don't hear any feedback. So when we start arguing and infighting within our groups, we hear feedback instantly. So it's like, oh, I get my gratification for talking shit. That's why I say being on his nuts or against him, both are a waste of time. There's people that just super glorify people like AJ, Glenn Beck, Michael Savage, all these radio personalities. They're just radio personalities. That's all that I'm getting at.
But it's really hard
AJ is
to say
credible.
that they
AJ does
glorify
have a lot of credit. Then there's
We
a
can
lot of things
only-
that you could
I
debunk.
mean, we can
Some
only
things you
look
can
at,
debunk.
at
You know what I'm saying?
other people and say that they're glorifying him, but we really, nobody really knows
But-
if that person's glorifying. And what
Right.
does glorifying mean to that person?
But what
It
did
could
I
be
say
something
earlier?
Totally different. You don't know.
What did I say earlier? Passions always come off. Passionate actions always come off as being arrogant. And no
I mean,
matter how you look
really
at it, people,
shouldn't. I mean,
people.
but that's up to whoever's looking at it.
Well,
That's up to.
I'm not telling people whether or not it really shouldn't or it should. I'm just saying that as a societal look. I'm looking at society saying, okay, society sees it
But that's
as
the whole
one
thing
way or
that-
the other,
that we're
or
fighting against.
the different ways. You know what I meant earlier? Like
But
where I
that's
was
all
talking about.
groupthink type shit that we're trying
Well-
to get far away from because
Well-
this groupthink is telling us that guns are bad.
Yeah, but groupthink also tells us that guns are good. Groupthink could
group-
work in
groupthink
groupthink is
shouldn't
just a
tell us
tool.
that. Truth should tell us that.
Groupthink and
Facts
truth
should
and
tell
all
us
that, those are just tools. Truth is even a tool. Truth is just something you pick up.
Truth is what is.
Because
It's
people see
whatever is out there.
Well,
right?
yeah, but people are gonna perceive truth their own way.
Exactly.
Regardless, so that's why I was getting at
so
societally.
That's what I'm saying is it's all generalization. When and all that does is really takes from the real goal here, which is to really figure out who these people are, why they would do this, why this is such a big difference from anybody else that you've seen on Piers Morgan.
Well, I think
What
the
is-
thing
what
is,
is the
I think the
big
thing
difference
here's
here?
the big difference. The thing is like I said, the ego and the arrogance that people perceive Alex Jones as having and being. What I was trying to get at is that.
But if you don't
let me
perceive
finish
that,
this. Check this
then
out. What I was
what?
trying to get at is that what needs to be perceived is the message, not the person. The message is what matters. The Second Amendment is a message. Yeah, there's, the signers of the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? All the people the founding fathers that signed the Constitution.
But, he was
But
talking
that
about
doesn't
other-
matter. Who
other-
cares
other
about the
things
people
too,
that
right?
signed the Constitution? What matters is what the topic is.
But he was
The
talking about
Constitution,
many topics,
and the
right?
thing is, so when we talk about groupthink works good and bad. Everything is a group. We're always gonna group. We're human beings. We're
That's
tribal.
right. I don't-
So if us as human beings being tribal, we could say Christians are tribal, Muslims
We
are
make each
tribal,
other tribal.
Jews are tribal,
Christians
whatever.
are
All
tribal.
different groups, religions. Those are different tribes, different
Not a
cliques,
tribe.
different groups of people that
Only
that
if we-
congregate
only
together.
if we put ourselves
And
in
and let me finish. I'm really trying to get deep on this one. And you have all these people in groups. They group themselves regardless because we're human beings.
I don't group
There's
myself.
gonna be the anti-gun
I don't
group,
group myself,
and then
but-
there's gonna be the pro-gun group. So regardless of whether or not you do or don't group yourself, society, the whole
Society
collection
can
of
kiss
the
my
universe,
ass then. Nobody
the
is-
world
nobody
is gonna group
grouping
itself
me.
up.
No.
That's just the way it is. We're humanity. That's a group.
Only if we give
There's
into it. Only
animals,
if we
that's a
give
group.
into it.
You know what I'm saying? All that I was getting at is that ideas is what creates the group. And groupthink, when it's based on ideals, not a person, is where it's more powerful.
It's always
You can never
ideals.
kill
The
an
fucking
ideal.
Nazis had an ideal.
Okay, so my ideal, which
Kill all
is
the white
anti-Nazi,
people.
which is that everyone should have guns. My ideal is that everyone should have guns.
But
and my
there's so
groupthink
much more to you
objective-
than that. That's why it doesn't fall into that category because you're
But
not
on that
you're
one-
you're not limited to that.
But on that one particular category, just that one, groups are going to be created.
It
And there's
shouldn't
going to
be.
be the
It
pro-gun
shouldn't be.
groups, and then there's going to be the anti-gun
it shouldn't
groups.
be because
And that's-
because that gives
Okay,
people
so-
a false sense of what is really happening. It
So
gives
then-
people a
okay,
false
so-
sense of truth.
So let me ask this then.
Because it's all
It shouldn't be. I agree. Okay. Yeah, we
It
shouldn't. We
doesn't
shouldn't
have
be
to
divided.
but
We
it's
shouldn't
only
be
if
divided. We should all
if
be
we
one, right?
Give into it, right?
We should all be one, right? But if an idea that we can never agree upon, what's the solution?
What's the problem? You know,
Guns.
What's
Guns are the problem, so-
why are guns are the problem? There's no
Because
truth
people
to
believe that guns
that.
are bad.
Doesn't make it bad.
So I'm gonna be the
that doesn't
anti-gun
make
person.
It bad, though.
But in
Because-
my eyes,
right, well,
I'm gonna be
prove
the
it.
anti-gun
I would
person
say
here for a
prove
second.
it. Oh, prove it.
Okay, guns
it to
guns
me.
kill a lot of people.
People kill people. Guns don't kill anybody. A gun cannot shoot
I'm ignoring you.
itself.
I'm ignoring what you're saying.
And then that's it. And then
Guns
that's
kill
when
people.
Alex Jones jumps on
No,
Piers
guns
Morgan.
people.
and
Guns
rips
kill
in the
people.
gloves.
No, guns kill people, Greg.
Guns
look at the
don't kill
statistics.
people.
Look at the statistics.
People can.
What type of gun?
People can kill
What
people.
type of gun?
Without guns.
What-
Guns can't kill people.
What type
without
of gun
people.
was used
That's
in the
difference.
Aurora shooting? What was used?
An AR?
Did that kill somebody?
Did it kill somebody?
After
Yeah.
the trigger was pulled?
What,
Did it
what,
kill someone?
What type of gun was used when a guy chopped up his freaking family? None. But he still chopped them up. They're
But what
still
kind of
murdered.
gun?
They're still
But-
dead.
But what does that have to do with the gun? We're
I'm
talking
gonna-
about guns.
You're not gonna take my guns, pal. You're not gonna get them.
You see how
okay?
fucking ridiculous this shit sounds?
No.
See how stupid I sound? No, but I was just giving you the
But you're
anti-gun
really-
angle. And that group
No,
of
but
hard-headed
there's probably
people.
more to that, right? They probably would
So
say
they're
that they have
probably-
a better
Okay, all right. So
better argument than
the,
that.
right, I don't know. They probably do. All that I was trying to demonstrate was the group think, and there's gonna be people like the character I was trying to
Piers
portray
Morgan,
there,
I guess.
Pierce Morgan, who is like, I don't care about your statistics.
Yeah.
You know what killed him? A gun. Then we need to keep them illegal. That's retarded. You prevent more crimes by having more guns on the street. There's an instant watchman when there's a gun on the street. You know, but people don't get it. I don't know. The demonstration that we just gave, hopefully people will see how retarded and stupid. And pardon my French, because some people get offended when I use the word retarded, and I mean no harm to mentally challenge people, because I hella respect them, and you gotta be a freaking idiot if you're retarded, in my book. So, again, I just wanted to throw that out there.
But those are labels too, and those are
Right,
you know,
right.
things.
Labels,
I mean,
all that
shit,
stuff.
You know, nobody ever talks about, well, how did this happen to these children? How did
Right.
this happen to these people? We just label them and then set them over here, and then put them in, you know, some special courses and stuff like that, without ever really trying to figure out what the problem is that would really help them and help other children too. You know, and that's a whole nother issue. But man.
No, I know, I kind of got in sidetracked
These
there on
whole
that societal.
psychotropic drugs probably have a lot to do with that.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Right, you hit the nail right on the head. You want to talk about what really kills people?
What does kill people?
What does...
If it's not guns.
What kills people? Let's really ask the question.
Did they kill people before they had guns?
Yeah, of course they did.
Are you sure?
Let me ask the question. Check this out. Is it passion? Is it gain? Is it mental illness? Is it, what's the word, predatory? I don't know. There's a whole bunch of different titles that we can use here. Militaristic? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But what causes people to kill? Okay,
War,
let's look at
tribe.
statistics. Let's look at statistics. Who's killed the most people throughout history? Government.
Okay. That's true.
Government has killed the most people throughout modern
Based
history.
on-
Oh, let me rephrase that.
Based
Modern
on
history.
government stats.
But also government decisions have killed a lot of people, taking them to war.
Sure.
That still counts as government killing people, I guess you can say.
Mm-hmm.
But people will say, oh, that's war, that's not democide. But it's still a form of democide. You're still sending your civilians off to get killed. I mean, you're
Maybe it's a hybrid of both. You know?
you're sending them out to die. And the word democide, a lot of people don't even know what the hell that
Demo
is.
war. Yeah, I mean, people, yeah, because it's just another label. It's just another
Right.
another thing that
Right,
we
but
call
it's an
ourselves.
action. It's an action. And it's a definition of an action. And the action is the government systematically killing its own people, like Hitler. Like, unfortunately, the black past of the United States, where the government killed Native Americans and blacks, but we learned from that. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to make those mistakes again. We want to move forward, and we learn from the Constitution and how to, you know, move forward in a history on a positive level, and be peaceful with one another. You know, we learned that.
Is it possible?
Yeah, and that's the thing. So the whole group think, you know, back to the group think of the Constitution, those constitutionalists, I guess you can call them, that's what they tend to call people that believe in the Bill of Rights, is that we just want freedom. We really just want freedom. Like, your group, okay, there's the true left-right paradigm, and a lot of people don't even know what that is. Everyone think, oh, the left-right paradigm is socialism versus fascism and blah blah blah. No. That's the high school programmed American indoctrination system teaching. What it truly is freedom at its absolute, which can be ugly, because if you have the freedom to kill and murder, you know, that's all bad. That's absolute anarchy. But then on the other side of that scale, you have absolute oligarchy, which is basically total control over everything, and you have a small group of people that control everything, or you have a democracy that controls everything. Because oligarchy can be in the form of either a single leader, a council of people, or everyone votes on it. 51% of the populace says, brown-skinned people like me need to be executed and eliminated, and
well, that's what would
mob will win. So that's oligarchy again.
Okay.
But then on the other side, on the absolute anarchy side, governments have no control whatsoever over the people, and the people have absolute control over themselves, which can be kind of double-edged sword, I guess you can say. You still need to have some sort of rule and order in order to prevent murder and death,
which
and
is
violence.
Death by hanging in a public square or something.
Yeah, you as a society, you create rules that say, okay, you can't just kill somebody. In order for someone to be executed, there has to be a fair court trial,
But who's in charge of those rules? That's always the same problem.
Well, the thing is,
because it's always evil people.
What I was gonna get at is that it's always been the people who control those rules. It's always been the people.
Evil people.
No.
Because
I wouldn't say that,
people,
because
people don't want to boss anybody else around. They don't want to control anybody.
So people that ultimately want freedom and want that to be the control.
They might be forced into that spot, but I just believe there's a lot of people. You don't want to be really doing this. You don't really want to be searching for this shit. There's a lot of other things you could be out there doing, having fun. But there's something that draws you, that makes you feel like you have to, because this is what needs to be done. You know what I mean?
Well, I think at this point in time, only because, the way things are going, I've come to the conclusion that, it's either now or never.
Yeah, it
I mean,
is.
things are getting really bad in this country, and, people are just going to say, oh, you're crazy for seeing them, but I'm going to be quite honest with you, you're crazy for ignoring them.
Yeah,
and,
why
and
are
living
you?
just the way it is mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's some, part of my friendship, that's some bitch ass shit. That's just the way it is.
These people give in.
Go along and get along.
But it's not only that. They try to put us down, or they have a problem with us because we don't do that. That type of groupthink, as you would call it, is something that's really bothering me, because if people don't want to be looking for this stuff, if they don't want to be searching these things, that's fine. But why are they trying to make it hard for me? Why are they trying to intimidate me into not looking into this stuff, or into just watching whatever? I can't even go to any baseball games with my own dad now, because if they search me, I will not let them search me.
I think the
You
wise.
will not put your hands on me. You know what I'm saying?
I think
I've got to that point, man.
Okay, so I think the whys are very hard for people to understand. So here's my understanding, and there, again, it just goes back. Oh, you're crazy. That's not the way it works, and you're conspiracy theorists, blah blah blah. I've come to the conclusion that over the past 2,000 years of human history, at the most recent end of that 2,000-year stretch, yeah, there's been a lot of tyranny and oligarchy and all this stuff going back and forth. I mean, yeah, there's just so much stuff going on. But as of recent, we've seen these cycles of freedom and oligarchy and freedom and oligarchy and freedom and oligarchy, and kind of a mixture of both in a stabilized system. But now we're at this point where the system is somewhat stabilized. There's some highlights, some good points in it. People were successful in the free market economy, and there was a lot of people that were able to operate in an anarcho-capitalistic society where there was literally no government oversight, period, back in the day. And that led to some bad things, don't get me wrong, because, if I'm a, person who wants to hire children and have them work in my factory, that can become a negative thing if you're an anarcho-capitalist. So you have to have a little bit of a regulation set there. But again, it's just a moral question of people's morals. But with that aside, basically what I was trying to get at is that with the way the change from oligarchy to freedom is there has to be a balance. You can't just have one or the other. So with the absolute freedom in a anarchy society, I could say, yeah, I want to have slaves. You know, hey, there's no rule against this. But then again, you're creating a rule saying that, yeah, I own you now. So it kind of goes back into oligarchy. So you have to have that balance.
It's a big maze of crap.
You know what I'm saying? You have to have freedom, and freedom to some people is you know, freedom. It's just liberty and freedom.
Yeah.
You know, when you talk about government, you can classify absolute freedom as being almost a state of anarchy because there's no government.
I would like to see somebody try to make something better than our Constitution. I don't think that anybody could.
Well, maybe we can.
Really don't.
Maybe we
really
can.
don't.
I think there is Constitution 2.0. Reboot
We don't
and
need
restore
a
the republic.
We need a reboot. We need a big
Well, that's what I mean.
reboot.
What I
back to
mean is
fucking
this:
version
if we
one,
want
man.
if we want to go back to version 1, yeah, let's go back to version 1. Still keep the freedoms, but make more safeguards that guard and protect liberty.
there was a lot that was
Not things that remove those safeguards, but things that actually instill them.
We got to take
Like make a constitutional
got to
amendment.
get rid of these fucking super Congress people.
Well, no,
Where you have things like
Jada,
that. There's a
let me,
lot to get rid of.
I agree with that to a
I
degree.
mean-
The super Congress thing, the term limits, all that. But let me just say this fundamental thing here. The bottom line is this:
Paychecks.
the Constitution. Again, it's a finger pointing thing. It tells us the rights that we have. The founders may have not seen all the rights that we have now and that we should have. They didn't know anything about internet freedom. They didn't know anything about video cameras and all this. They just said the press. And that meant the press, a device that you use to press and make copies of something with the stamp. It was a press. That's what they meant by the press. Freedom of speech, that was the ability to talk and say whatever you want. So they didn't really envision all the freedoms that we see today. So we tried to redefine press and say, oh yeah, press is anything. But then again, we get lawyers speak, and the English language being as, I guess you could say, as deceptive as it is. I mean, it's one of the most messed up languages. There's like 5 definitions for the same word. Like congress actually means sex. Like congress is sex. You know what I'm saying? So like the English language is, I'm not criticizing it, saying that it's bad and we shouldn't use it. I'm just saying that there's a lot of ways it could be perverted and used against us. You know, like thou shalt not kill and thou shalt not murder. It's like 2 different things. You know what I mean? People debate that forever. But going back to what I was saying and the whole topics of the language and the way it's used, is that the Constitution, the language I was using in the Constitution was the language of 1787. This language is old. So people, as history progressed to the future to now, they added definitions, they added things to the word, they added and changed it to make it all messed up. I don't know if that was the true intent or not, but to me it seems like they just purposely dumbed it down or made it convoluted and cloudy, where like Spanish or another language, the words are concise. They only have one meaning. You know? Like you can't use the word for other things.
Why not?
That's just the way the languages were written.
Yeah, right.
As they developed, as the writings developed over
They're
time, that's how
like,
they were written.
Yeah, right. I'll use this word for whatever I want.
I guess the alternate was
it's a mangled.
Well, no, I was gonna say this. Let me just say this. I think the alternate was wanting to create one language that had multiple definitions for the same word. Whereas languages, because they would argue over the meaning of something, they would change the word and change the language completely, and just, you know, you would have like Babylon
just to
stuff.
kind of mock some tribal.
Right. So then as we spread and left, you know,
that's why I don't put that much stock into the languages and it should be in this language, that language. I mean,
okay, well, regardless,
the spirit is moving in you. Language is just
right.
a barrier
no, I know.
you have to overcome.
Right. I wasn't trying to get into the religious thing when I said thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not kill. Basically, what I was getting at was interpretation of law.
Okay.
Interpretation of law. That's an interpretation of a law.
Whose law?
Mosaic law for that one. That's Mosaic law, and also Islamic law, because Islamic law, they believe in the Ten Commandments. So, again, going back to society, like I was saying, societally, we tend to group ourselves. Oh, we believe in these laws. Oh, we believe in these rights. So, our group, the biggest group that should exist, in my view, you know, is the freedom group, the liberty group, the people that don't want the government in their everyday lives, the people that don't want the government in their business, the people that want to be able to say, hey, Greg, I think I could sell you something and I don't think I should pay taxes, and
I think you're right.
You know, let's, or how about this? Oh, I think I can hire you and I don't think you should pay taxes, but you know, you can work with me and I'll pay you way more because I don't have to pay this tyrannical government taxes that we don't even see one red cent. I mean, come on, look at our roads, look at our infrastructure. Our country's destroyed, and we're paying like record high taxes. Who's getting all that money? The Federal Reserve.
The British?
Partially, yeah.
All the way
the
back.
Bank of England. Yes, it's that one Rothschild, New World Order, Bank of England,
They
Crown
couldn't
of
get
England,
our guns
the Vatican
yet, but
Circle.
they'll take our money.
Well, once they take the money, the next thing is they need to
guns.
take the guns, because once you lose the money, you lose your mind, and people need to defend themselves. So when people lose everything, they go crazy, and
like Alex,
you need to have the right to defend yourself against these crazies and not rely on a government monopoly of security. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's what it comes down to. So it's
You're right.
pretty intense, pretty hardcore.
Well, the whole thing is that, you know, they're calling us crazy, and I don't see anything wrong with what Alex Jones did. I actually thought it was great. I thought it was really great because you have to also look at Piers and how he treats other people too. And there were some other calm people and stuff like that where he was nice to or whatever, but there's been a lot of people, especially people who are on there talking about guns, and you know, he hasn't given them. He doesn't give them much time to really do anything. And then, but he asked Alex Jones the same questions that he asked Jesse Ventura. It was the same bullet point about that little fact, and it's such a small thing because it doesn't look at, well, okay, well, they have this many guns in their country. Maybe that's why, we have this many guns here. Maybe that's why. It's just really meant for children. It's meant for people to get a quick answer.
Right, and that's the thing.
But it's not a simple issue.
They treat society like children. They think we're a bunch of idiots.
And we
they
have
think
to
we're
stop
stupid.
letting them do that.
So let me throw this at you. Yeah. And I want you to respond on this, because this is what I think happened. And it comes down to what I was talking about earlier about time and a place. Piers knew what he was doing. There's a time and a place for everything. So somebody like, I can't remember the guy's name. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm having a brain fart here.
Who,
the Gun Owners of America guy. The
Larry Pratt?
Larry Pratt. Larry Pratt went on Piers' show.
Yeah.
Again, there's a time and a place for everything. So basically, the psychological warfare aspect of it, the time was to put Larry Pratt in his place and make him look like a complete idiot, and be on this moral high ground of, well, I'm the British news anchor here in the United States.
If I talk like
I'm going to talk like this and make you look like a complete buffoon. You are a dumb man, Mr. Pratt. You are a stupid, stupid man. That's how he acted at that time. That was the time and the place that he needed to be like that. Now with Alex Jones, what he was hoping, because he knew that Pratt would be proper, have a debate, and be polite, and you throw facts at him and never explode like AJ did.
It was
what Piers was trying to do was get Alex Jones to explode and act a buffoon and act a fool, which he did in the eyes of many in society. Let me finish. Societally, a lot of, come on, I've showed the video to people at work already. I've already showed the video to people at work, and they're like, oh, he acted a fool. But then they look at it and think about, like, oh yeah, he was really right on point.
They're not looking,
because they don't know who Alex Jones is. So he's crashing their paradigm and like destroying their train of thought. And like, oh shit, like fuck fuck this guy.
Dude, I'm telling you, that's what Alex Jones does.
You know what I'm saying? That's
and
what happens.
What's,
People
what's
get
good.
the paradigm crash and
you
they're
know,
like, fuck this guy.
We can walk around and yell at people telling them to wake up. Alex Jones is showing us how to wake people up. Is to get people not talking about all this stuff. So
Regardless.
that, you know, I mean, he is
right.
really
and like
good
I said,
at getting people, at just getting people juiced up for truth. You know, whether they think that he's full of crap or not. That's just going to make them want to prove him wrong harder. That's just going to make them look at what's really happening with guns more. I mean, it's a win-win. Because
he does motivate people to do
stuff,
which is a good thing, right?
It can never be about Alex Jones. Once you make it about him, or you make it about Manny, or you make it about any one person, man, you're already screwing yourself, because now you're losing focus.
So what it sounds like
you're
arguing is that when you demonize somebody or get on their nuts, it's basically bad.
Well, I mean, basically,
it's a waste of time. The idea, yeah, the person's cool, but the idea is what matters. The ideas, it's the ideas. That's what I'm saying. The ideas are key. Yeah, Alex Jones, I'll give credit where credit's due. He has a big platform. He has a bunch of people that listen to him. But then there's criticism that, you know, he's making the movement look like a bunch of idiots. Which people do perceive that as. And that's just the reality of the situation here.
Wrong.
But what I'm getting at is that you have people like Glenn Beck that constantly ride Alex Jones's dick in a negative way and just like put his name in his mouth. Oh, you know, Alex Jones, that crazy guy, blah, blah, blah. It's like, dude, all you're doing is helping him if you hate him. You know what I'm saying? So if you hate somebody, don't criticize them, because the more you criticize them and keep that name in your mouth, the more publicity you're giving them. Because in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, it was in the... Glenn Beck is garbage, bro.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, there was actually a point in my life where I actually watched his show and was like, wait, this guy's talking about the Constitution. And like, he tricked me into like following the Jews scope for a little bit, and then it was like, oh shit, nah, this guy's straight bullshit. You feel me? I ain't even gonna waste my time with this.
I mean, but everybody's getting mad at Alex Jones because he wasn't calm. But it's like, why should Alex Jones be calm just because other people want to be calm, you know? I mean, if you want somebody calm, there's a lot of calm people out there, but do we all have to be like that? Can we raise our voices? You know, do we all have to go by these rules and be nice to the people that are trying to kill us? That's also kind of weird too. How do you be nice to them? I mean, you know, I don't know. But it's also like, it takes away from the overall message, which is guns, which is our rights, man, that we're losing.
Well, it's one thing to be nice, and it's another thing to be passionate. I think if you become passionate, it comes off as either arrogant or abrasive. So people that come off passionate tend to be seen as what I just said, something negative. So I think it's important for us in the movement, the liberty movement, to kind of keep our cool, even though there's times where I'll rant and rave and get all crazy. We do have to have discretion, because it's all about timing.
Yeah.
The time and the place, you know. Where are you? What time is it? And what, you know, how should you be acting?
Well, how do you find that timing? I mean, you know,
it's in your gut.
You know,
ultimately, I think it comes down to it. There's no script to life. It's just, you're in the moment, you're in the situation, you act a certain way. Sometimes we learn from experience, I think. Also through, you know, seeing ourselves, trying to self-reflect, I guess, if you may, trying to see what you've done in the past, where you were, and build upon that, rather than just continue to move forward into the past and not really look at yourself. People that don't do that, they tend to go down this path of just destruction, self-destruction, I guess you can say, because they don't really see where they're headed and what they're doing to themselves.